Hello and welcome to the Hearthstone tournament coverage for theloveofplay.com. This is Derik Smith, and what you're about to see is the semifinals between me and my brother by blood, Benjamin, or Benny. And it's some of the best Hearthstone I've played in a while. It was really fun. No one's really around, and we couldn't record our audio when we were playing, so I'm just gonna do like a little bit of a commentary for you guys. But I'll just do it kind of like my normal Hearthstone Let's Plays. So, starting out, I went with my warrior deck. Again, there's no legendaries or epics in these decks to be friendly to new players. I basically always aggressively mull for either an upgrade, a War Axe, or a Leper Gnome in this deck to get things going. Now, I thought he was going to play his Priest deck, which he has been doing really well with in the tournament so far, which I will end up playing in this matchup. But he starts out with a Mage, which is kind of unexpected, and kind of a good counter to this warrior deck, unfortunately, for me. But let's see if I can make it happen here. Basically got the choice to either armor up or put the owl down. And I think the right choice is maybe to armor up, but I go with a really quick start because, I don't know, that's kind of a mistake I think on my part. Just fearing the spell power. You know, but what's the worst that's going to happen is he's going to get, with 2 mana, is he going to get like, you know, another arcane missile or maybe an extra damage to a frostbolt or something. It's not really worth spinning the owl so soon, so early in the game when the owl can really kind of be key in either saving me from a taunt or getting rid of a big threat, or, you know, obviously tons of uses for silence. But I got the Berserker out, which is a good solid card. I mean, 4 health is hard to deal with, and obviously his passive is an awesome ability. Looks like I kind of have a high cost hand here. There are lots of cards with high cost, and the direct damage I like to use when I have 12 health because it does more damage if I have 12 or less health. That 4 mana strike there. Dalran comes out. More spell power, but I get the buff there from taking out the silenced Cobalt, and looks like I do use the heroic power to take out Dalran. Again, kind of fearing the extra spell power for a mage. It's a lot of damage that kind of got soaked up there. So I would say it's looking good for Benny. And there comes the Cobalt. And yeah, the Arcane Explosion, I think he gets me with that a lot with the quick spell power. Arcane Explosion can be really devastating. I mean, it's basically a Consecrate, you know, with 1 spell power, and with 2 it's more than that. You know, you don't damage the hero in his life total, but it's great for clearing. There's Leper Gnome. Not really much of a choice. Don't want to waste the strike yet, and not enough mana for the big guys in my hand, so armoring up and getting that gnome out there. His hero ability can take care of it. Oh, but there's the arcane missiles with the next run, so yeah, it will definitely hit the gnome. Take a large chunk of my armor out. And a big taunt, so looking good for Benny here. Got the fairy dragon. Basically just thinking about getting the body out there, because the charge commander isn't even going to kill his taunt. Just have him make some choices, and of course the ogre can take out the taunt, hoping not for a polymorph. And I think a fireball with the spell damage might be able to take out the Bloodfist Ogre. Such a good card, Bloodfist Ogre, for its value, I mean. 6/7. Hard to deal with, and that's another spell power, so Benny's locked and loaded. Going for the face. This is just embarrassing. I was playing the warrior, by the way. We'll be watching all the matches from my perspective. And this is the semifinals, so the winner of this is going to play in the finals. Softens up the ogre. It says go, so he's got plans for that ogre, especially, I'm sure, with that spell power. But I think I'm going to use him to blast through that taunt. Good commander out, take out some of that spell power and the 4/4 threat, neutralize that. Of course, my commander can probably be taken out pretty easily, and will, I'm sure. Here, it's Benny's turn.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Auctioneer. The taunts to protect him, plus the card draw, nice. Nice turn. And he doesn't go for the minions, he's going for the face. I am getting low. Upgrade's not really going to do me much good right now. Thinking of Mortal Strike. But those taunts are really ruining my life. The Mortal Strike can bypass taunts because it's a spell, and I think I do use it to get rid of that Auctioneer, because playing Miracle Rogue, I know how horrifically devastating an Auctioneer can be. Benny just drawing into his whole deck eventually, and all those spells coming right at me. Putting out the Fairy Dragon, but if he has a wipe, he's gonna use it, because I have a bunch of high attack power, low health minions, and I'm sure he's got a wipe, so it was probably a bad move to play the dragon, because he doesn't have to target it directly. There it is, Flame Strike, wipes the whole board, and now I don't have my Fairy Dragon to, you know, combat the clear with more bodies on the board, so probably could have held on to that instead of lumping it in with the inevitable wipe, but it is what it is. Thinking about what to do about that Geomancer. Obviously silence is kind of low priority. And go for the face, make him deal with the Divine Shield, and hit him once. It's probably not a great idea, because he can bypass the Divine Shield with the hero power and then just throw his Cobalt away. So I kind of screwed myself out of 1 damage there, but you know, games can often be decided with 1 damage. So there's the hero power, and I assume he's either going to do 2 or just throw his Cobalt. It's a pretty good trade. He's thinking about things. Berserker. Yeah, so hindsight is very much 2020 in this matchup. Berserker here. Silence that, so now he's just a big giant 2/7. Doesn't get those buffs. Benny pinging it to get his attack power up. Don't really want to see that. And for the face, not much use in chipping away at a 2/7 with 1 attack. Still Benny at 20 health though, kind of a mountain to climb, especially considering that I have no cards in my hand and Benny has 4.
Pay attention, class.
It's a Violet Teacher, gets more bodies on the board, I assume a spell. There you go. It's gonna kill the owl. It's gonna buff up my Berserker, but he's frozen. And you know, Benny can answer to his health total pretty easily, and he's got time to do it. Bloodsail Raider, another body. I think I decide to not play it, however, even though it would get the 1 buff, because this deck has Arcanite Reapers, it has Fiery War Axes, it has these weapons, and I haven't drawn into a single one, so the next one's got to be coming soon. And that's going to go a long way with the Raider, which will get buffed much more by the weapon. And it seems to be kind of worth it She's just going to get eaten up if I bring her out there with an extra 1 attack. I mean, she's probably going to get eaten up anyway, so... I think I just managed to attack with the weapon I have, getting rid of it, taking out a 1/1, and, you know, buffing up the Berserker a little bit more. Holding off to try to get a better bang for my buck with the Bloodsail Raider. Questing Adventure, I love that card. Not as much as the Mad Bomber, but it's a great card. Multiple buffs from that Fireball. And Benny's got a huge board presence. Looking a little futile. Just going for face. Got the Elite. Not a weapon, which is what I needed. I think I just try to neutralize that Questing Adventure because it just is such a threat. It grows so big if you let it, and it's only going to get harder to deal with. So throw away my charge and pray for I don't even know what I could draw at this point, honestly. But there's another big body for Benny and chipping away. So this one's pretty much done. I mean, I'm at 6. There's the Arcanite Reaper. Too little too late, however. I'll be able to equip it and get a huge buff for my Raider. Armor up, but with 8 health, he's got enough to kill me, so I have to kill one of his creatures, and I can only attack with a weapon, so I'm taking that damage. So I think Benny's got me here. A good game, taking me by surprise with the mage, making a mockery out of my warrior deck. Although I really kind of got screwed with weapons there. I didn't get many. If you guys saw the coverage of the quarterfinals with me and my cousin Maggie, those weapons can do a lot for this deck. But not to say Benny didn't play his mage very well, and I had to concede. So that's 1 win for Benny, and it's first to 3 victories. So we're going to start with our second matchup. Mage versus mage, brother versus brother. This is a really basic mage deck that I made. It's just like a tempo mage, kind of based off of an old Hearthstone deck, I think. Just kind of basic good mage cards and not too much spell power, but you know, we'll see it as I play it. Mana Worm, always a good turn 1. Anything with 3 health on turn 1 is kind of awesome. They have to deal a lot of damage to that. But Benny with the early silence this time. Making my 1/3 just that. And I could go with the Loot Hoarder. I could coin into something, but that's not a very good idea. Questing Adventure is always great when you can use the coin after you play him, because it gives you another buff, which is just insane. That always feels good. Because you're going to follow up the coin with a spell. So I'll ping the Owl. Easy enough to get rid of and hit him for 1. Makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but seemed to be the play. I'm just going to draw some cards. Sound decision, not a huge threat on the board right now. And there's a lot of choices for me right here. Obviously, I could go with Loot Hoarder. I could do Questing Adventurer. I could coin into Water Elemental. But I think what I really want to do is kind of hold off on the Questing Adventurer until I have enough mana to Questing Adventurer, coin, Loot Hoarder to get the presence and the buff all quickly in succession and unexpectedly. So I just kind of do a mirror move and draw some cards with that Arcane Intellect, wishing that I could get the buff from my Mana Worm, but that well-placed silence is kind of forbidding that. So I get a little bit more options for next turn and pass the turn to Benny, who does the mirror image, bides his time, and kind of hard to deal with 1/4. Getting ready for a combo of some sort with that spell power. Now it's decision time. You know, Arcane Missiles is at play. I have the Gnome, which can let me cast it for free. Looks like there's a lot of spells that I could play, so it might be a good time for Questing Adventurer. But I don't really have... I don't...
Give me a quest.
You see, I don't know about this play here, because I think I do, yeah, Loot Hoarder, and that's fine, but honestly, I didn't really need the card draw, because I have a full hand, so I maybe should have played the Gnome, which makes my spells cost less, and done Arcane Missiles for free, not only doing damage to his taunts, but keeping my options even more open for next turn when I have things that don't cost as much mana. But, you know, my Questing Adventure is sheeped anyway, so that's kind of moot. And the card draw is nice, but I might have played it differently if I played it again. Just owing to the fact that I have so many cards and the card draw isn't maybe as necessary as doing damage to those taunts. But there's the Gnome anyway. And here goes the free Arcane Missiles. That's a great shot. We got one of the taunts. Now I want to get that Dalaran Mage, but obviously that taunt is in the way. So I can ping it and then throw my minions at the taunt. And then I guess the only other thing I could do is to cast taunts of my own. But they're not really... I mean, it's not a bad play. Either way, I kind of want Dalaran gone so that I could save some people from a wipe with that Arcane Explosion that Benny does. Nope. And ping. No, I do the card draw and the taunt. I don't get rid of Dalaran Mage. Now I'm freaking out because the turn's almost over and I'm thinking, do I Ice Lance? What was that? Because I just drew it. Could have been a big mistake because all he needs is an Arcane Explosion and everybody gets 2 damage. Well, it looks like it doesn't matter anyway because he's going to do 3 damage. That's a good wipe. And I'm probably kicking myself for letting the Mage go. At least one of my cards would have survived, but... oh, and there's the Arcane for 5. That's a great value. Luckily, I hadn't been taking much damage. But man, that hurts. All my taunts gone. Mad Bomber. Personal favorite card. I put it in this deck because I just felt like I needed to go. I was one card short and saw it and threw it in. And even though there's a lot of choices and a lot of things that could potentially work out in my favor, I gotta do Mad Bomber because when I draw that card, I play that card. Because it's too damn fun. Okay, and not a horrible turn of events. As you know, the Mad Bomber is completely random. And I got to take out one of his cards, and I can ping the other. Now I got a 3-2 on the field with my Apprentice, which will maybe help next turn. Now, unless he's got another Arcane Explosion and Spell Power, these two should be relatively safe. But I got a cheap Fireball. I got Ice Lance with the Cone, so potentially a lot of damage in the hand. Frost Bolts and gets a body from his Violet Teacher. Make it a little harder for me to cast those spells. Drawn to Mirror Entity. Just a fun little secret. So I think what I do here, because that 3-5 is kind of a nuisance, I'm gonna hit it with the Cone. Maybe not. Maybe so. Yes, hit it with the Cone so I get rid of the 1-1 in the process, and it's perfect killing range for the Ice Lance, which is a great card, great value for the damage if you can get him frozen, and go for the face. So all around, I think that was a pretty good turn for me. Actually, it worked out well with the Cone of Cold. The Violet Teacher can be a bit of a nuisance. Obviously, he is a mage and will be casting lots of spells, so he's digging, which is good for me, because now he's got less mana to cast, and did that just to get on the same level as me in terms of card advantage, so... Alright, using the mass damage just to get rid of the Mad Bomber, so he really doesn't want to fall behind and damage another secret, another good secret. Now he's got 9 mana next turn and nothing on the field, so if he's gonna play something big, in response to that water elemental, I think it'll be next turn. So there's the mirror entity. Hoping to set up a great trap for whatever big threat he's going to play. I don't remember how this goes. What does he play? Crossing my fingers for something huge. Bloodfist Ogre.
I got the best deals.
Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Jackpot.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Obviously, he has one too, which is kind of a problem. But I'll definitely take that on a chanced mirror image. And then I'll take it as a sheep, and he'll draw a card from it. So, all around, worked out for Benny, even though it seemed like good news. And there's the second Flame Strike, and even though I could Vaporize, and then the Auctioneer might hit me, probably will, or I could Fireball it. I think the Fireball is going to be better for direct damage to the face, get him down low, fast, and I think what I do is use up one of those Flame Strikes because... I'm thinking about hitting him and then pinging. I'm thinking hard about that. But am I going up a little bit? Yeah, going for the face. Just in the end, I'll do more damage, and I don't know. I don't need 2 Flame Strikes this late in the game. He's not going to have a huge board presence, and if he does, you know, I'll throw the other one out, and I've got the Vaporize for further removal. Flame Fireball if totally necessary, but obviously we want to go for the face with that because that's a lot of damage. There's a Fireball of his own to get rid of my big threat. And there goes my sheep, so board is clear. But I have a Water Elemental right on deck to replace it. Must be frustrating. It's another Fireball not going at my face. Mine is going to his, and his are going to my creatures, which is good for me. I'm still at 23. Benny's definitely got the card advantage here, though, so let's see what he plays.
Give me a quest.
Missing Adventure, it's a solid card. And there's the second Fireball, so now I know he doesn't have any more Fireballs. Water Elementals are gone, which was kind of a bummer, but... I know those damage aren't going to my face, and that's a great draw for me, honestly. Top deck, a big body, spell power, and a card draw. Let's see where that gets us. So I think, yeah, Vaporize is a good call here because he's gonna probably buff up his Questing Adventurer, and he's not gonna throw it at the 4/4 because it's gonna really weaken it, and he wants it to get strong. So I'm just gonna put out more threats, and then I would imagine he's going to hit me in the face. I am much higher than him, although he needs to deal with my threats. And he does. Flame Strikes, gets his Questing Adventurer big, but he's definitely going to lose it here. Yep, there's the Vaporize. So, pretty much devastation on both ends of the spectrum there, but I am basically out of direct damage, and he's still got 11 health, so the game is not over. There's a Fireball, that'll help out, definitely. Plus the ping, so he's got 4 turns to win it, and I have a Flame Strike to deal with some of his threats, so 4 turns is a long time, though. All I need to do is draw into some direct damage, but I have used both my Fireballs as well, I think. He's just going to have a little bit harder of a time getting rid of 21 health, opposed to my 4, obviously, and that's not a great turn. And that's not a great draw, but it could delay, you know, a big threat that he might play, and down to 3, so he's got 3 turns to figure it out. And summoning creatures with Summoning Sickness is going to take a toll on the amount of time he has to finish this game. It's looking like a victory for me here. There's the ping. You do what you can. And a Frostbolt with the spell power. Frostbolt's so great for characters with weapons too, like rogues and warriors. It really neutralizes their ability to make choices and really messes up the game. For mages, obviously, it's not really a big deal. There's a Loot Hoarder, so not the best play, but I can get a body out there, and he will be forced to run his ogre into it or deal with it in some way. I guess he could just ping it, obviously, but I think right now I'm thinking about Flame Striking or Ice Lancing in case he's got some wicked burst. But with 15, you know, there are no epics or legendaries, so there is no pyroblast. I think I just go with the loot hoarder and ping him. So he's only got 2 turns left. And do I need to ice lance just to ensure that I don't take 4 to the face? No, because he has to. Well, I think it would be safe not to, and I can use it next turn. I doubt he can do 15. There's no way. Especially with no more fireballs. So there's a Wind Fury Harpy 4/5 that's pretty dangerous. But it looks like I drew into direct damage, which is the end of the game. No need to draw it out. There it is. Game 2 goes to me. That's 1 victory for me. It's 1-1. And this match is far from over.